Hello, everyone. Welcome in to New England Sports Time. Yet another podcast video here coming about. I'm Sam Lowenstein alongside Jonah Casel. And Jonah, thank you so much for coming on.
I'm happy to be here, Sam. I'm very pleased with the move that was just made, so I'm very happy to talk about it as well.
Well, of course, you're from Philadelphia. I'm from Boston. My feelings about this move are very different. But what can the Celtics expect from a player like Paul George?
Paul George, I think his Sixers career was really in two different sections. The first was pre-suspension. He was not great, and he was hurt, and he was suspended. That was not what we wanted to see as Philadelphia 76ers fans out of Paul George, the guy who they were paying 40-some million dollars a year. When he was signed, was not really in favor of the signing. I don't think the big three really works, especially with somebody like George and somebody like Embiid, who are both pretty injury prone. So when they signed him, I was like, okay, I mean, he's on my team now. I'm going to root for him. But I always had that doubt in my mind that is he actually going to be what's best for this team? And I think at the end of the day, he wasn't, but he had a great second segment, and that's after the suspension when he got healthy. The suspension was the best thing that ever happened to him as a Philadelphia 76er because he got healthy, he got his mind right, and he came back and he balled. I mean, post-Perk P, as we call him here in Philly, played in the playoffs and was maybe one of the turning points because his defense was really solid all the way through. And I don't think they win that series without Embiid, but I don't know if they win that series without George either.
Definitely. Paul George, one crazy stat that I found looking at his last 7 seasons, he only played really a full season's worth in that 23-24 season in 1 out of those 7 seasons. So you said it, post per P. I've never heard of that, but it's pretty crazy to think about. And maybe that could actually benefit the Celtics a little bit. Maybe.
I think so. I mean, everything that I saw from him basically post-trade deadline was impressive. He came back to his scoring ways, and the Sixers really needed that to make that playoff push and then eventually get that series victory in 7 games. But, I mean, wasn't much help in the next series, but I don't even think that Primal Braun could have helped those Sixers in that series.
Yeah, definitely. Paul George, looking at his stats from last year, 17.3 points per game. Good numbers, but only 43.9% field goal percentage. The 3-point percentage is good, but as someone from Boston, I can't see it working out for the Celtics because you compare that with Jaylen Brown, just really by no means, besides 3-point percentage maybe, but Brown isn't really a primary 3-point shooter. It just doesn't make sense.
I agree. I am kind of scratching my head here looking at it from Brad Stevens' perspective. Are they going to have, at least from your perspective, are they going to have George play the 3 and Tatum play the 4?
Honestly, yes. I think the Celtics, what I'm really realizing is this team is going to try to go big. With that Kata extension that was signed a couple hours ago, they signed Mitchell Robinson, of course, to that multi-year deal. It's going to be good. I like Mitchell Robinson. I've seen him play a lot of games. Of course, Hack-a-Mitch, classic Celtics Knicks, but it's pretty crazy to have him on the Celtics side now. But this team we're really looking at a style revolution in terms of the Celtics when you think about it, because this team had gone small for so many years, 3-point shooters, they're switching it up, and that's what I think they could be doing, getting Paul George. And also, one other thing that I really came down to, the reason why they got Paul George was they made Jaylen Brown mad, at least in some way, trying to get Giannis, that absolute debacle for the Celtics, but just trying to look at it with a little bit of hope. If this team can really have an identity change, it could work out.
Sure. I mean, I am not a basketball guru. I know Brad Stevens knows a lot more about basketball than I do, but I think this offseason has not been super amazing for the Boston Celtics. Another thing that I saw unrelated to the trade, but maybe it has a lot to do with why they decided to trade Jaylen Brown, is he expects a big time leap out of Peyton Pritchard this year, which I think Peyton Pritchard is good, but I don't know if he's taking the Brunson leap like he's expected to, apparently.
No, Peyton Pritchard, someone who's watched him a lot, Pritchard is amazing. I don't think he's going to be at the level of Brunson, but you could expect him to take a big leap. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 5 player in the league, top 3 or whatever, but I could see him being a top 15.
Wow. Okay.
Not Brunson level, but a couple steps, maybe 2 steps below that. I could definitely see it. Now, of course, Pritchard has played on the bench. a lot for basically his entire career. He's the best sixth man in the league easily. He's an incredible player.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a lot out of him. But if he plays well, his ceiling is a player who's maybe 2 clicks below Jalen Brunson. He has a very high ceiling.
Wow. I mean, he's going to get more minutes this year for sure. And with those minutes, I don't see why he couldn't take a certain step. I guess I'm a little bit lower on him than you are.
Well, the thing with Pritchard is kind of the other side of that is he'd be playing against better competition, but Peyton Pritchard can do it. Pritchard, time and time again, he has shown that he's good. He's played well in the playoffs. Of course, that championship run that the Celtics had, Peyton Pritchard, I was at the parade. He poured champagne on me. It was really incredible. He sprayed it. I was right there. Amazing memory. But Peyton Pritchard, he's a clutch player, as we've seen with all those buzzer beaters. I believe that he can do well when it matters for the Celtics, and that's what's going to matter.
Sure. And I mean, looking at it as a whole, this Celtics team is pretty good, and he's a part of that. I mean, it puts a bad taste in your mouth to not have Jaylen Brown anymore, but this team is not bad. They'll be absolutely in the playoffs and above the play-in. They'll be a top 6 seed in the East. I'm sure about that.
Oh, 100%. Well, the thing was, last season, coming into it, I predicted Celtics would make the conference finals. I stood by it the entire season. Didn't backtrack.
I had them in the finals. I thought that they were going to take down the East.
Yeah, I was the only person that said that. I truly thought I was right, and then they just fell apart in the playoffs, and I was like, whoop, there it goes.
I completely expected the Celtics to take down the Sixers in 4 or 5.
They should have.
Yeah.
Should have taken them down in 5.
Yep.
I've blocked out that series, personally, from the Celtics. Just like, I haven't even thought about it for a couple months just because of how bad it was for the Celtics. An absolute collapse there, but having a guy like Mitchell Robinson with the playoff experience, it should work out. But looking at Paul George's contract, one other thing, Celtics just handed the Sixers and you guys an absolute super team.
Yeah.
Absolute super team with Brown, Maxey, and Embiid. It was supposed to be Brown, Giannis, and Tatum, or at least Giannis and Tatum.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think if they were going to get Tatum, there's no way they're keeping Brown.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
But when some crazy stuff, the Celtics cap situation doesn't even change. One of the reasons why they would want to get rid of Jaylen Brown is he has an insane contract. At the time when he signed it, it was the highest contract all time, and then Tatum broke that. That's how the NBA goes. But Paul George's trade kicker, 15% up, goes from the cap hit being this next coming year $54.1 million to $57.7. It doesn't even change that. Not sure what Brad Stevens is thinking with that one.
Agreed. I think you're just basically trading Jaylen Brown for older, worse, more injury prone, less proven Jaylen Brown.
And then I guess you throw in some first round picks, but Jaylen Brown was a top first round pick. And with the way the Celtics gave the 76ers a super team, those first round picks aren't going to be all that good, and definitely not at the level of getting a player like Brown, most likely.
I definitely think one of those picks could be pretty good. The Sixers have the Clippers 2028 first. The Clippers are going to be awful. And the Celtics get the best of the Sixers picks, which includes that Clippers pick, which I was a little bit upset about, but I'm not really going to care. In given the choice of having maybe the number 1 pick in 2028 or having Jaylen Brown, I'll take Jaylen Brown 10 times out of 10.
Oh, 100%. The Clippers were the 9 seed, but yeah, that roster, it's
with
not
no Kawhi.
No Kawhi. They still have Darius Garland.
True.
They still have Darius Garland. It's going to be a good pick, but it's not going to be, I wouldn't say number 1. Maybe
I think it's going to be lottery for sure.
Low
potentially
lottery.
Top 5.
I'd say low lottery.
Somewhere in between that.
Yeah, somewhere in there, but I wouldn't say it's going to be a top 5 pick. Darius Garland is a proven player, but definitely for you guys in Philadelphia, it's just not that big of a deal, in all honesty. The Celtics, they've made some big trades, traded a bunch of picks for Derek White. That turned out to be a big, great splash. Not sure why the Celtics are doing this at all. But yeah, Paul George is interesting. On the 76ers, obviously his point totals went down, but 3-point percentage increased quite a bit after that suspension year.
Yeah, I mean, the top to bottom, the Celtics lineup could still take anybody down. Pritchard, White, George, Tatum, and then Robinson. That is one of the best lineups.
Scary.
That's terrifying. I mean, I'm a Sixers fan, and the Sixers lineup stacks up good against them right now, but also the Sixers bench is awful. Apart from Anthony Simons, and we don't know anything about LeBaron Philon, this Celtics team is going to make a potential run. I'm not going to say that they're going to make a run for sure, because I thought the same thing before last year, and then the collapse happened. So you can never count out a collapse like what happened last year.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you bring up a good point. The Celtics team, even without Jaylen Brown, is very good. This is still a good team. I'm not as high on them this season, though, as I was last year. And here and there, I've been accurate about some stuff. Most of my really accurate predictions have been the Red Sox. I was one game off of predicting their win total accurately, but
wow, that's impressive.
Predicted they would win 90 games. They won 89. Everyone was low on them, but this year I was not high on them at all. I was in the middle, but back to the Celtics. I just don't get the same feeling. Last year, Jaylen Brown, it felt like they had that vengeance. Team was better without Tatum. So I definitely have talked to some people that have said, why didn't they just trade Tatum? I don't think you can, though.
I think that'd be crazy. Tatum's the face of the franchise.
Yeah,
I know Brown won the Finals MVP, but that is Tatum's team.
Well, some Boston fans for sure are not high on Tatum. Some people in my family think they should have traded Tatum. It's pretty crazy stuff, but no, definitely you can't trade Tatum. But yeah, Paul George, that guy has to stay healthy.
Yep.
He has to.
He is a good player.
He is a good player.
The bottom line is that he's a good NBA player. He has been a good NBA player for his whole career.
He's 36, though.
That's very true.
He's 36, and not everyone's LeBron, and even LeBron's fallen off a little bit. Yeah. His last All-Star appearance was 23-24 season. Got 6 out of the 9 All-Star appearances during the 2010s. Obviously, he's still a good player, but
absolutely.
One concern, I don't know what you think about this. It brings me a little bit to thinking about that. It's obviously very different, but the Paul Pierce trade on the Nets perspective, they got an old player. Now, of course, it's very different, but there was a lot of concern in there. You give a guy like Jaylen Brown who could win a chip potentially with Philadelphia, could be bad.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the word that I've been using is head scratching for the Celtics. And I think they kind of backed themselves into a wall with the Giannis situation. And you have to think, how different would this team be if they just pulled the trigger on Hugo Gonzalez? Or I think the other guy that they offered was Baylor Shireman. If they said yes.
They should have traded them.
I agree. I think they absolutely should have. You can't pass up Giannis Antetokounmpo for somebody who isn't proven at all. You can't.
Yeah, honestly, that shouldn't even be a question. Baylor Shireman, Hugo Gonzalez, watching them last year, those are good players. I love Baylor. Baylor's a great shooter, but why not trade a role player and a good young player for a superstar? It makes sense. The Celtics in the last couple of years have been able to make those big trades, and it shouldn't even be a question whether they should or not. They should have absolutely traded him.
I agree. That's definitely
it's bad. Paul George also has a player option his final year, so if the Celtics really suck, he could leave. He could only be getting 1 year of expensive Paul George.
He could also opt in and screw the Celtics if he's terrible. That's the thing.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah. I mean, if they're good, then yes, you want him to come back. But if they're bad and he's
bad
okay,
and Paul
he's
George is still there.
Yeah, if they're bad and he's okay, he's going to leave. If they're good and he's bad, he's going to stay. The only way that this works out for them, if they're good and he's good.
And there's nothing guaranteeing that.
Agreed.
The Celtics are going to be good, but Paul George could be good or could be bad and really hold them back. I mean, you said it perfectly, Jonah. That Giannis I said it earlier, the Giannis debacle. How do you not get Giannis? I was somebody who thought that the Celtics could win a chip, could definitely make it to the finals at least. I don't know if they would have won it against stronger West teams, but they would have made the finals.
I agree.
If they had gotten Giannis. And they messed that up so bad. Just trade your players. At that point, it's sort of like before the Celtics, Brad Stevens, they made the gutsy moves, trading Marcus Smart, getting Kristaps Porzingis, getting Drew Holiday. Those were the smart, big moves that the Celtics are just too scared to make right now. It makes me crazy.
Yeah, coming from an NHL perspective, because that was the first sport I really got into before becoming an NBA guy. I I go crazy over the fact that NBA teams just trade stars like that, and that the star-filled teams are going to be the ones who win. The Knicks kind of changed that a little bit, but with the NHL, the teams who have the best stars aren't always going to win. Like Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl are on the Edmonton Oilers. They've never won anything. But the teams
Edmonton,
who,
they always lose in the finals, right?
yeah, they have good – the teams who have good depth like Florida and Carolina, they're the ones who win. But in the NBA, it seems like the teams who go out and make moves and get the stars are the ones who are a little bit more successful. The Knicks kind of subverted that a little bit, but I think next year we're just going to be going back to whichever team has the biggest stars is going to win. Like, I think the Thunder are still the team to beat. So getting Giannis seems like a no-brainer for the Celtics, and I don't know how they messed that one up.
Oh, for sure. Well, the thing with the NBA is just smaller rosters.
Yeah.
Definition by the Celtics are kind of the antithesis of that, though, a little bit. Obviously, they still have stars. Brown, well, no longer Brown, but Tatum, a lot of different guys. They had Porzingis when they won it.
Yep.
Holiday.
That was a phenomenal team.
The Celtics are always the deepest team in the NBA. 100%. That's what they do so well. Peyton Pritchard, so many guys this year. They can shuffle so well. And there's a part of me that is like, I have to believe in Brad Stevens. Have to believe him a little bit. Sometimes he's going to make a move that I scratch my head about, kind of like you are. You can't fully doubt him. Obviously, I don't like the move. It's not good. They should have gotten Giannis, but a couple of years down the line, you never know.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Stevens, if you asked him today, and all bets were off, like he's not pandering to the media, if he said, would you have changed anything? He said he would say he probably would have traded for Giannis, because the only thing that the failure to acquire Giannis did is anger Jaylen Brown. And I think if they acquire Giannis, this is a whole different situation. And we're not talking about the Sixers as a potential championship contender. And we're not talking about the Celtics as a bad offseason. And who knows what happens. I think it's one of the biggest what-if moments in recent NBA.
100%. It's really so interesting when you think about it. The butterfly effect.
Sure.
Philadelphia really benefiting from the Celtics.
This could bring Philly LeBron.
Yeah.
I don't think LeBron is interested in Philly without Jaylen Brown. But now, definitely. Who knows?
Who knows? And LeBron, he's plenty rich. Maybe he'll take a small contract. You never know. And then everybody else in the East is toast.
I hope so.
Well, you hope so. I definitely don't. Philadelphia, even, I think it was, Josh Shapiro, the governor, he said something about it. We're going full statewide. Politicians talking about this. This is the level. This is unimaginably bad from the Celtics.
I'm coining it right here. I tweeted it out already just to get it out there. I came up with this. LeJon James. I don't know. Do you know what a John is?
Yeah.
LeJon James. He's coming to Philly.
LeJon James. A John just means like.
It's just a thing.
JAWN is just a thing or a something.
Yeah, it's anything. Like that John. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Philly slang.
Yes, sir.
LeJon James. I like that though. I mean, I don't want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't want it to happen, but I like the name. I don't like the situation potentially happening.
Yeah.
That would not be good. Yeah, just looking at some of this other stuff. Paul George, interesting because he actually does have a higher 3-point percentage than Brown. Brown, though, 5 All-Star appearances, 10 games. Jaylen Brown can just do everything.
Yeah.
He's just a really solid player. Him and Embiid is going to be terrifying.
Hopefully for me and for all the Sixers fans, Embiid will be on the court with Jaylen Brown. But the trend has been that's only going to happen for about half a season and then maybe a playoff.
But even then, Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
Brown and Tyrese Maxey, that's going to be a scary duo.
I'm very excited to see VJ Edgecombe.
Edgecombe too. Forgot about him.
The thing with Edgecombe is I think he could shine, but he's going to be the 4th or 5th option on this team. It's unreal.
Well, it could be sort of a Peyton Pritchard, obviously a little bit different because he'll be starting, but in some ways a little bit similar just because a guy like that with so much talent put up 23 in that game 7 against the Celtics. Man, looking at the stats from that Celtics game, Shireman didn't put up a point. Garza didn't put up a point. Okay, Ron Harper played 4 minutes, whatever. That was an abysmal game for the Celtics. Jeez.
Yeah, that I remember watching that game and thinking, this is so strange because the Celtics aren't making anything. And I'm so used to watching the Sixers versus the Celtics, and the Celtics just make everything that's just dominant, like onslaught of points and points and points. And the Sixers eventually lose. And this one, I was like, geez, they're not making anything. The Sixers are going to win.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of those series is that I fully blocked out essentially
Yeah,
and just being like, all right,
I
let's
feel
focus
that.
on the Red Sox. They're sucking too, but let's just focus on them.
I don't think I watched a full game of the Sixers versus Knicks series. It was just, yeah. So I feel you there.
Yeah, taking a look at that. Yep, sweep. Clean
Yep.
sweep for New York. 144, 114.
Yes, sir.
But I don't like New York either.
Yep, we can agree on that.
We can agree on that. Philly and Boston, two historical cities, almost 4th of July, the 250th birthday of the US. We're both better than New York, but
Agreed.
not this season.
No,
Jason
no, not
Tatum
this
is gonna
season. But in
have to.
terms of fans, I think so.
Oh yeah. Well, the
Yeah,
Knicks fans are interesting though.
they
They
are.
are incredible. But I got a quick question for you, just to wrap things up. If the Sixers won the NBA championship, do you think they would go crazier than the Knicks fans?
I don't think so. I think Philly is football first and New York is basketball first. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but it's just something about those cities where the Philly guys and gals will go crazy and nuts for the Eagles. The Sixers, they'll go wild. You'll see a huge parade, but they're not going to be people on the street after every single win of the playoffs. Like the Sixers won a series and you didn't see people on the street. The Knicks
Wow.
won a series and everybody's out there. You can't even move in Times Square because it's so packed. So Philly, fantastic fans, and there are just fewer of them. I think that's the other thing.
That
Like
is true.
there's so many people in New York. So I mean, you were at the Boston Celtics parade. How was that? Was it insane?
The Celtics parade was fun, but here's the interesting thing. That year, the Celtics steamrolled everyone.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel as crazy. Like, obviously, it was like day one. It was super cool, but it wasn't. I think that year when they played the Warriors, if they had won it that time, it would have been way crazier.
I also feel like the Celtics, it was such a long time coming before that, and that team was so good. With the Knicks this year, it felt like they rose up, and it was their first finals appearance in so long, and it had been 53 years. It felt like they earned it, and the Celtics, it was just like a matter of time.
Oh, definitely. I think there's a big difference. One thing that people don't really talk about, there's a big difference between if a team wins just because of how dominant they are and if a team wins with upsets. Like that's why I thought it would have been so cool if Indiana won.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
that would have been like even I'd say a click higher than the Knicks. Obviously, the Knicks, that's a crazy year, but
Yeah, the
it's
Knicks were
very
dominant in the
similar.
playoffs, but I don't think anybody expected them to be.
Yeah, definitely. Like no one expected it, and then that Spurs series, all those comebacks and
Yeah,
whatnot, just nuts.
unbelievable.
Just absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, I love Boston, the Celtics. The thing is, we're not really like I'm trying to think, we're not necessarily like single-handedly a basketball town or football town or baseball. It's just everything because everything is good every couple of years.
Yeah.
But
And my Sixers haven't won since '83. My Flyers haven't won since '75. So
wow. Oof. Well, Red Sox are struggling, but they'll be back in a couple years,
yeah,
maybe.
sure. I mean, baseball is the big markets usually figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. Red Sox ownership is kind of incompetent though, because they care about the Penguins quite a bit.
I feel that. My
Multiple.
owner owns the of the Philadelphia 76ers owns the Washington Commanders.
That's not great.
No, not great at all.
Well, thank you for coming on. Any last thoughts?
Go Sixers. I look forward to a Sixers Celtics matchup because I think those are two teams that are absolutely going to make a shot at the NBA championship, or at least at the East this year. And this is the first time in a while where I can remember the Sixers, Celtics, and Knicks, that really Northeast fan base, huge rivalry area, all being championship contenders. So I'm very excited for this upcoming season, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, viewers, thank you for tuning into this video and goodbye.